My name is Christina and I'm with Queer-Centric Books, and we are here today to discuss two different BDSM stories. One is a year-old. It came out February 15th, 2015, but it won the 2015 Best BDSM Story on Goodreads. So I just wanted to say congratulations, and the story is For Real by Alexis Hall and Riptide Publishing. This was the first story of Alexis's that I read, and it just grabbed me completely all around. Alexis does a great job of bringing taboo subjects to the forefront, and then you get enthralled and you're in them. He brought May to December, and obviously BDSM and a taboo subject on its own. Laurie, who is a 37-year-old trauma surgeon, and then we have Toby, 19-year-old line cook. One night, Laurie is with his friends at the BDSM club, and he notices this kind of tall, gangly little kid almost walking around looking desperate, looking lost, and he goes to him to see, what are you doing here? What's going on? And Toby looks at him with such authority and just tells him he knows what he wants in life, he knows what he wants to do, and he explains to Laurie what he wants. Laurie sees this and just falls to his knees right in front of this 19-year-old kid. And at first I was like, whoa, you're 37, he's 19, what are we doing here? And it really took me a while to kind of get into this May-December romance. But as I read along and as I discovered who they were, what's going on, I really just kind of, as they fell in love, I fell in love with them. And I thought it was great. Like, Laurie is a character that is submissive in the relationship, and he enjoys pain, which I thought was kind of fabulous, No trauma, nothing in his past, and he wants it. He just likes to have the pain, and I thought that is awesome, because usually when you read a story and the submissive wants pain, it's because something's happened in their past. But Laurie just wants it, and I thought that was really cool. Thanks, Alexis. I really enjoyed that. Too traumatic has happened with Toby. He is the son of a really famous artist, and she's kind of free-flowing, does whatever. There's always somebody different at the house, man, woman, it doesn't matter, and that's probably where Toby says, I need control. So I just really loved For Real. I loved the whole situation. I loved everything that went on. It's just really great to watch Laurie kind of come down from this I know everything kind of attitude, and Toby to build himself up as this really strong person, and I loved it. So once again, congratulations, Alexis Hall, on your best BDSM story for 2015. The next one we are going to talk about is Loving the Master by Lynn Kelling. It will be out on February 9th, 2016, and according to her, it's kind of a prequel to a prequel, because there's already stories out about the Mance gay BDSM club, but this is kind of telling you more about the owner and his relationship, which I guess takes place in more books, which I didn't realize until I got to the very end of this, and she was telling us about it, so I have to go back now. I loved this. It's a master-slave kind of a situation, only it's master-slave in the bedroom, and it's not master-slave for all of living, and I really like that. Main character is David Davenport, and as I guess if you've followed along with the Mance stories, that you know that he is the owner of the club. And him and his friend Elliot, who is also a master at the club, decide to summit and go to the Teresa's, where they've heard a good review about fantastic macaroni and cheese. And so when they get there, their waiter is none other than Shay Whitaker. And poor Shay, he has been on his own for years. He got kicked out of his house in the middle of high school because his dad saw him making out with his ex-boyfriend Ryan, and packed all of his things, told him goodbye. When Shay thought he was just kind of kidding and just having an anger spurt, his dad came out with a shotgun and said, "You need to go." And since then, Shay has been on his own. And at the moment, he's currently living with Ryan, who once again is his ex-boyfriend. And Ryan is not the nicest guy in the world. And without being able to live there, Shay is homeless. He has a car, it doesn't run. He gets around on a bicycle. Just has a hard time keeping down a job. But this kid, let me tell you, keeps up faith. He is very much in love with superheroes. His favorite is Captain America, but he doesn't have a particular DC Marvel thing. He loves them all. So kudos to you, Lynn, for writing a character that doesn't just stick with one group and loves just all superheroes and has kind of a superhero kink that he just adores. And I adore Shay for you and your superheroes. Immediately upon David seeing Shay, he is just kind of grabbed into him. He has this natural submissiveness, and he just wants to know more. Well, that night, Shay is taking his bike home, and some muggers throw out a pipe. Shay falls off his bike, and they mug him and pretty much kind of drag him to an alleyway, kind of beat him and leave him for dead. Shay, being the strong person that he is, the survivor that he is, gets up, carries his bike to his apartment, which is still quite a distance away, up 3 flights of stairs. When he walks in the door, Ryan, ex-boyfriend, is waiting for him, drunk, and tries to rape Shay, who, remind you, is 18, still a virgin. Shay makes it to his room, locks himself away. He's probably got broken ribs, broken arm. I mean, things are so bad for this kid. He just holds himself in his room. Next day he's off work, takes a relax. The next day he goes into work. David decides that he's going to go back, slum it at Teresa's, and talk to Shay. Well, when he gets there, he doesn't see him anywhere. And then Ellett all of a sudden says, "Keep your cool." And I'm just kind of like, why are we keeping our cool? What's going on? Shay is outside on the sidewalk, just kind of holding himself together. And immediately this grabs David. What is going on with this kid? So he goes out there, he talks to him. David now becomes Shay's superhero. David takes this kid that he doesn't even know and brings him to a hotel suite to get medical care, to be looked at. I mean, immediately David is, I'm taking care of you. Give me all your concerns, give me all your troubles, give me all your pain, and I'm going to take care of you. While he's in David's care, David goes to work. In comes people that work for Dorian Davenport, and they pretty much torture Shay. Dorian Davenport wants to know what you want with my son. What are your intentions? And David is trying to get a hold of Shay, trying to get a hold of the bodyguard that is with him, and can't get a hold of anybody while he's in a meeting with his dad. And his dad's like, everything's fine, calm down, what are you doing? And David's like, what have you done? And rescues Shay, but Shay's already passed out. So he takes him to his house. And this is where the story gets like really good. I mean, Shay has no family. He has very limited friends because he's been homeless. He's been relying on people. He hasn't had the money to pay them back. But this kid is so strong and such a survivor. And once again, I mean, he has superheroes. And granted, they're just superheroes and it's comic books. But we all have something that we have to use to pull us out, to remind ourselves. And he has his superheroes. And now he has David taking care of Shay. And he has to explain that he has these feelings for him. But you don't have to pay me back. We don't have to do this like this. David has had feelings for Shay since the moment that they met. Shay's had feelings for David and didn't quite understand them. And David is now going to bring Shay into his world of master, slave, submissive. Everything that David likes, everything that David wants, he sees naturally in Shay, and then wants to bring him kind of over to the dark side. I love the story for the innocence, and I love the story for David's immediate take charge, I'm going to take care of you attitude. Throughout the whole thing, David's dad has people trying to get into David's house to take Shay. And as the story unfolds, you get a little bit more and a little bit more of why he's doing this, why he's so paranoid about Shay, why he thinks Shay is going to destroy David or destroying the family. And at the end, his dad does something so I didn't even see coming that you're just kind of like, whoa. And then you have to stop and think. At the end, is Dorian really the villain? Is he just kind of an over-paranoid nutcase? Is he just really so in love with his family and his son that he will go to the extremes because he can, because he has the money and the wealth and the means? Is he just some crazy old guy? I mean, there was so many things running through my mind at the end with what happened that I'm still, I think, kind of processing it, even though I've been done with the book. And I love when books have me thinking even when I'm done. Like when I close it, I'm just like, alright, and I can move on to something else. It was a decent book. I loved the story. I loved the suspense between what's Dorian going to do next, what is David kind of hiding about his family's past. I just love the beauty and innocence of Shay. And like, I love the nerds, I love the geeks, and I love when they find somebody that's not nerdy or geeky to be with. Like, somebody else has embraced you as who you are besides a fellow nerd geek. And that's like one of my favorite kinds of stories ever. So I was really excited to experience that. The sex, well written. Loved it. No panties or boxer briefs probably needed while you're reading those because it's pretty hot. Just throwing that out there. So as a recap, we have For Real by Alexis Hall, and that was in 2015, but he won the 2015 Best BDSM Story on Goodreads. And then we have the new and upcoming Loving the Master by Lynn Kelling, Fantastic Fiction Publishing, and it's about a 250-page story. I would give it 4.5 to 5 stars. It was really well written, plotted, thought out. You know, in the back of your mind while you're reading, you're still thinking, what happened to David's family that his dad has done this, that his dad has gone to this extreme for his son's protection? Like, what could have possibly happened? And you get little tidbits of Shay's story along the way, what brought him to where he was when David found him. The writing was very good. The characters were well developed. Like I said, Lynn at the end of the book said this was kind of a prequel to a prequel. That is it for me today. Have a great night. This is Christina from Queer Centric Books.